So this month's Cimmerian September did not go well. I followed along with Michael K. Vaughan's plans and I read Conan pastiches. Well, I tried to read Conan pastiches. I had to change things about halfway through the month, but let's just start from the beginning and talk about this month of Cimmerian September. So Michael K. Vaughan created this wonderful booktube event, and I decided that I was going to read pastiches. Well, I didn't read the Lynn Carter, L. Sprague de Camp pastiches, which, looking back at Michael K. Vaughan's videos, I am very happy that I did not do that. I decided to just read the ones that I thought were interesting. I started with Conan, Road of Kings by Carl Edward Wagner, and that was good. It was like a 4-star read, pretty good for a pastiche. It had a lot of interesting themes about what happens to revolutions after they succeed. Here's a hint. Most of the people that start the revolutions don't survive to start the new governments. So keep that in mind. It felt like this weird Animal Farm type plot in some places, and then, just good Conan action. It wasn't very memorable though. Looking back on it now, less than a month later, I'm thinking, yeah, those things happened, but I don't remember much else. So after that, I moved on to Conan the Rebel by Poul Anderson. I thought this should be great. I love Poul Anderson. I love Conan. Put them together. What do we get? A very not good book. I did not like it at all. I DNF'd it like 25% of the way through. It was just not fun at all. I've noticed with these pastiches, Conan just feels wrong, which you would expect going into a pastiche novel, but not quite that wrong. Like Carl Edward Wagner got the closest, but Poul Anderson just missed almost completely. And then I moved on to one of the Robert Jordan Conan novels. I can't remember which one. It might have been the very first one he wrote. Doesn't matter because it was not good. I have realized that Conan should not be in novels that are longer than 200 pages. So everyone should start there, then maybe cut another 50 pages off those. I don't think he works well in really long stories. But I have found a place he does work very well. Steve Donahue just released a video about it. I will link him as well. And it was something I've been thinking about all month because the pastiches were so bad, I had to pivot to something else Conan related. So I read comic books. I started with the Marvel comic books. I'm not very far into them and they're pretty good. The first 2 are like very boring. And then the third one is very good. And then the next few that I read are just not too bad. I plan on reading more of them, but what really changed the way I thought of Conan comics is the Savage Sword of Conan. Holy crap, that comic is amazing. The art style, the story, everything. There's this scene where a snake person basically tells Conan, "Pray to your gods, little man," and Conan's response is, "My God hears no prayers." And I was just like, yes, that is like the coolest thing you could say in that moment. And then he drove the sword through the snake guy's head and pinned him to the wall. Just absolutely amazing. Savage Sword of Conan just feels brutal, and it is what I would expect from the Hyborian Age. So that is what I would suggest you give a chance to when it comes to Conan pastiches. Like I said, Steve Donahue just made a video about it today. I want to make sure he gets full credit for this. He was saying that it looks like the inheritor of the pulp style is comic books more than pastiche novels. And I totally agree. Comic books are a wonderful medium that allows both a visual art and a story, and it just works so much better for the pulpy style than long form content. Even when you look back at like pulp writers, once they start stretching out into novels with their pulp characters, it's not always good, but comic books just nail it. And I saw that he was talking about the Dark Horse Conan comics, and I need to read those now. That just sounds very fun. Now, I did read something else this month that involved Robert E. Howard, and that was Robert E. Howard Changed My Life. I didn't read the entire book, and I'm happy that I didn't. What they are essays from different people talking about how Robert E. Howard influenced their life, where they found out about him, the works they first read from him, why they still love his work, how that influenced the rest of their lives. Now, there's a Steven Erikson one in there that I read a while back, and it's fantastic. And what I've realized is anyone who is a fan of Robert E. Howard needs to pick up that book and just read one of them every once in a while. When you're starting to feel like the itch to read some Robert E. Howard, grab a copy of Robert E. Howard Changed My Life and read one of the entries in there. It's so motivational. It just amps you up to read some Robert E. Howard. And it makes you just fall in love with his writing all over again. The whole time I was reading, I kept thinking, yes, these comics are great, but I need to get to Waterfront Fists. Or one of them I read was just a love story to Cull. And I was like, wow, I really need to read my Del Rey collection of Cull. So this month was a bit of a failure, but also a very large success because it got me back into reading comic books, which it's been a very long time since I've done. And I'm not going to stop. I think like anytime things just kind of quiet down because I've got digital copies, I will just pop one open on my computer and just read a Conan comic when I don't have much else going on. It's just so fun. I'll work my way back to the Marvel stuff again and keep whittling away at that. I would like to read at least the first 100 issues of the Marvel Conan series because I've heard they're very good. I don't know what next year is going to look like. I really think I will start pacing myself when it comes to Conan every year and read some Robert E. Howard Conan and some very amazing comic books because I really think that is the best medium for non-Robert E. Howard Conan. I mentioned it in a video I put out yesterday. My next read is going to be Waterfront Fists by Robert E. Howard because I love boxing and I love Robert E. Howard's writing, and I'm really looking forward to getting to that book. But after that, I'm probably going to read Swords of the North and then Cull or something else. Plan on trying to get 3 or 4 Robert E. Howard books read before next Cimmerian September. We'll see. I also have The Works and Life of Robert E. Howard and the Robert E. Howard Reader. So those will be fun to chip away at too. Like I said, when it comes to Robert E. Howard Changed My Life, I'm just going to start reading one entry every time I want to get motivated to get back into his writing. It's just so cool. If you didn't participate in Cimmerian September, just read some Conan anyways. If you're new to it, check out my video. I will link in the description. They're my 6 favorite Conan stories by Robert E. Howard. And just go out there and get yourself the Del Rey collection. The Coming of Conan the Cimmerian, The Bloody Crown of Conan, and The Conquering Sword of Conan. They're magnificent. If you get real lucky, go find yourself some of the Carl Edward Wagner hardcovers like Hour of the Dragon or People of the Black Circle or Red Nails. Good luck finding those. They're pretty cool. And I think that's it. Let me know what you read for Cimmerian September if you participated. And if you didn't, Crom would like to know why. His gaze is now upon you and your life is not going to be better for it. I want to thank you for watching. And with that, I'll see you next time.